Hello, I guess. This is technically episode 35 of the show. Um, Even use the rock Firefox t-shirts because you're that kind of nerd. Hell yeah, Firefox is great. I love Firefox. Yeah, episode 35, assuming I can count properly. All of the previous episodes are now up on my YouTube channel, youtube.com, followed by an unnecessarily long alphanumeric string of text because I'm not a partner, so I can't set my own custom URL. But if you just go to YouTube, type in Comrade Bubbles, they're all on there. This is season 6 of the show, doing Scarred material, episode 4 of season 6. We're working on some community content for the Frostlands of Fenrilik supplement that was released onto the Sluritian Vault. It's the Arctic continent for the Scarred Lands line, Scarred Lands being a D&D OGL kind of compatible game line made by Onyx Path, if you're watching this and you don't know, via the magic of the YouTube algorithm. What that means is it's a tabletop role-playing game published by Onyx Path that shares a rule system with D&D 5th edition, but heavily pared down and modified / adapted / not really. Slightly modified in that it's what you get if you take D&D and you add like 80s heavy metal covers to it, heavy metal albums to it. So there we go. I am Comrade Bubbles. I don't work for Onyx Path. Not currently freelancing on anything. This is all community content. My opinions are my own, etc., etc. I do experience muscle spasms. I do experience stutters and slurred speech because of it. I also have an ulcer on my upper lip, so that could also cause slurring of speech if pain occurs. Apologize for that. I appreciate that it makes things difficult sometimes to understand, follow, or just for me to speak in general. I do also struggle with multiple trains of thought, so I'll try to acknowledge something when I see it, but I'll then get back to it after I finish what I have been saying. Those of you who are paying specific attention might notice I have a spiky star next to my name on the Twitch chat box. That's because I hit a year's subscription to the channel. Woo! This video, I mentioned that they go up on YouTube, but they go up on YouTube at the very least a week after I stream on the Onyx Path channel, twitch.tv/the Onyx Path. Don't forget the because there is a week's exclusivity for Twitch subscribers. So if you're watching this and you want to watch like anything else on the channel that you've missed, you need to within a week of it airing, you do need to subscribe to the channel on Twitch. If you don't want to subscribe, you just wait a week, obviously, and it goes up on Twitch and on the YouTubes. This show goes up on my channel. Most everything else goes up on the Onyx Path channel on YouTube. If you have an Amazon Prime account and did not know that you could do such things, you can link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, because Amazon own Twitch, for a Prime Gaming account. And on top of giving you free swag for games and things, like in-game skins and exclusive cosmetics, it also gives you 1 free subscription a month. The channel gets all of the benefits of a subscription. You get all the benefits of a subscription. You just don't have to pay for it. Beyond the fact that you're paying for Amazon Prime already. You do have to set it to renew manually. Like, you have to manually click resubscribe, but that is the only difference between a Prime Gaming subscription and a normal subscription. It is the same as a $4.99 subscription, which is the cheapest you can get on Twitch. But you get sub badge, you get the emotes, and you get, as I say, the 7-day exclusivity period of watching the videos on demand. Okay, that was a lot to get through. Trying to get things moving quickly. I don't think we're going to finish one subclass today, purely because of the 20 minutes of faffing around that technical difficulties incurred. So YouTube, sorry for the video being shorter than usual. I just had some tech problems. I'm not going to go into it. Suffice to say that they were horrible. As usual, the best place to go for any Onyx Path news is the Monday meeting notes. It's really weird because I've got both the chat popped out because my browser crashed. It reloaded the Twitch page as well as the chat box, so I've got 2 chats and they're both scrolling at the same time. Anyway, big takeaways this week. Onyx Path is in its 10th year of trading, so that's cool. Which I guess means it's like 9 years old. It'll be 10 years old at the end of this year, I think. There's some fundraising going on for one of the White Wolf developers' families because, regrettably, they passed recently due to, I think, COVID-19. So if you can support that, please obviously do. 7 successful Kickstarters this year. On a more optimistic note, 7 successful Kickstarters from Onyx Path this year. This month there will be a Kickstarter for 2 Scion books, Masks of the Mythos, which is the Cthulhu mythos, and Dragon, which is dragons. It's in the name. You can pledge for one or the other or both. I know personally a friend is not interested in the Mythos book, but will probably back for both just to support the line because the Scion Project product line is pretty good. There's also a really great picture of a Scion standing in front of a house with zombies and an eldritch horror from beyond the mists of time and space. Anyway, and also the realization that Onyx Path has released something every week for like 5 years now, which is pretty cool. Speaking of, this Wednesday you can pick up the Quick Start, Jumpstart, one of the two, for Trinity Continuum, which is like the sci-fi superhero story path game. Jumpstart, there we go. And obviously, as usual, way down at the bottom, you've got the list of projects and where they are in the timeline. Gosh, that Scion Fiction anthology, can that please release soon? I mean, it's in editing, so it's going to be a while still, but still. Anyway, yes, so that's cool. That's all done. I'll recap the Kickstarter news. Oh, there's no news. There's no date for the Kickstarters for Scion yet. They are kind of coming when they come, I guess. Just this month sometime. I apologise, that was a very... Thank you for the Heart Custom Blink. I apologise, that was a very rushed overview, but as I say, I want to get things going, I want to get started. We have a fighter subclass to do today, but before that, I'm going to scald my tongue again. There we go. It is almost drinking. It is almost a bearable temperature. I don't need that open anymore. I need to zoom in so that you can all see what I'm working on. If you are 125, I think usually. If you are watching on a mobile device, 1, thank you. I appreciate the support. And 2, I know that sometimes it's difficult to read what I'm working on. You know what? We'll just go to 150. So I try to zoom in to a comfortable degree. Okay, so I mentioned working on a supplement for the Frostlands of Fenrilik. It's a kind of grab bag supplement. So far, I've got 2 player races planned: the Geist and the Ursid, like ghosts and bear people, inspired by the Hollow Legionnaires and the Manticora, the Sathi, and Slytherin from the Player's Guide, respectively. And right now, 1 subclass for each of the classes in the core rules. That's really all there is to say about it. Trying to talk you through how I go from turning the narrative of a class into the mechanics, or reduce the narrative of a class to the mechanics. I guess would be a better way of phrasing it. If you have any suggestions, feel free to ask. If you have any feel free to let me know. If you have any questions about what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, Scardlands, Onyx Path games, running games, what have you, please do feel free to ask. This is a community show. It's about interacting with you, the community. Although Rosie Rex in chat intimidates me because her writing is amazing, and you should totally all go and get the V5 companion and the Sound companion, Mistress of the World, for her to see some of her work. Anyway, yes. So far it's in alphabetical order. Do it now. Embarrass her more. Yeah. So far I've gone just in alphabetical order. Done a barbarian, Path of the Hunter, like a team-based barbarian. College of the Long Dark Bard. A bard less about, hey, I'm going to seduce you, wink, and more about discipline and embracing the fact that in a polar continent the night is dark and full of terrors. It is extraordinarily long, and that has some knock-on effects on like mental health and stuff, and trying to mechanize that in a way. Cleric, the community domain. Clerics don't feature overly in Fenrilik because it wasn't touched by the Divine War. There's some kind of like spirit worship Ushadi, I think it is. Headings, save me now. Ushidani, there we go. It's true, Rosie Rexit. It's all true. I did not say a word of a lie. How those clerics kind of set up their communities, protect their communities, and help them improve. Druids based on the Aurora. I think I finished this. I did. Using their wild shape to take on like an Aurora shape situation where they become made of the Aurora and some stuff relating to that. And we're on the Night Stalker Fighter. So, the narrative. Also, as ever, please ignore the text in the feature boxes. It's all placeholder taken from work I did on my own 5e OGL Patreon work from the subclasses I made for that. So ignore these titles. They're placeholder. Okay, so the Night Stalker Fighter. Out there in the dark, anything could be following you. Night Stalkers excel at moving quietly and remaining hidden, and many form the frontline defense when a community musters its militia. They are the scouts and guards who step out into the snow when a threat is heard but not seen. They are the unsheathed blade that you never see coming, or the arrow loose from the darkness. Even the scare-eye telltales of veteran Night Stalkers, and will think twice about raiding villages protected by a member of this venerable tradition. So I imagine these as survivalists. If you are familiar with D&D 5e, you may pick up on, let's just say, some resemblance with a certain ranger subclass. Very much kind of drawing upon that idea. So we definitely need bonus proficiency for stealth, and I'm thinking at 10th level, the disadvantage on stealth imposed by certain armor sets. Just making sure the capture's working. Should be negated by a class feature. Bonus proficiency on stealth. I guess proficiencies for stealth and perception. And this is where it all falls down, because... Fun fact, I don't actually have every... what's the word? Class build memorized. I know the rules for 5e, like the back of my hand, which is why I feel somewhat capable of talking about this kind of thing. I just need to open another PDF. Where is it? Please open. There you are. Please. Why did I put so many nested folders? There we go. Please don't crash Firefox. Please don't crash Firefox. Okay, we're all good. Howdy, Rochester, howdy. You know what? I'm going to put this over here so I can look at the webcam-ish while I'm scrolling frantically through PDFs. Yeah, because I don't have every subclass memorized. I don't, like, class feature, I guess, memorized. I don't necessarily know how the class progresses particularly. I know certain things, like the Bard always has a 3rd level feature that interacts with Bardic Inspiration, or generally does anyway. 3rd level fighters, I think, are just like a modification of fighting style. Certainly looks that way. Yes, it is. So 3rd level fighter, so some kind of modification to the fighting style. So I'm going to put skirmisher. And then so I don't forget what I mean by these things. Oh hey, Ride the Roman, that was a cool feature. Alright, I enjoyed that one. Again, if you ever have any questions, please feel free to ask. I will just repeat stuff to cover dead air as well. I try to have the patter, I guess is the right word. Try to keep it going while I'm typing. One, because it produces hopefully entertaining typos for you all to snigger at and point out, but also because dead air is not good and there's no background music. I really need to sort out some like copyright-free music. Just the only copyright-free music I'm aware of, it's like I need to put it in the overlay somewhere, and I haven't figured out. I need to talk to Onyx Path about that, just so there's something in the background, so it's just not my voice or silence. Thanks for sharing your process new to the setting. This shows in general we did a good job of describing the. Why, thank you, Custom Blink. If you need any clarification, I am aware that I speak rather rapidly. If you do want any clarification on anything, even if it's just asking me to repeat something, please feel free to do so. Obviously, also that sometimes there's an accent problem that can occur. Using OBS now to add the music is a bit unintuitive, but if I could do it, I'm sure. Oh, I know how to add music. I've done it with the pre-roll. I use Streamlabs OBS, but it's presumably a very similar process. It's more the stuff I know is copyright free either requires a chatbot to display the credit of the song, or I just need to find some way of setting it up so the overlay is showing the right information. So I just need to talk to Onyx Path about it. I guess Travis would be the point of call to make sure it's okay. Because one of my favorite indie musicians is like, yeah, as long as you credit everything fine, use my music and whatever you want, and it's great. And his music is wonderful, and he's got an entire album of just instrumental music, which is what I would probably use. But it's just getting around to sorting it out. What am I doing? I've lost the plot. There we go. 3, 7, 10, 15, 18. I'm just making sure I've got the right levels in this class table. 3, 7, 10, 15, 18. I have. Okay. So, 7th level feature. What is the 7th level feature typically? I guess I could look at the SRD as well, because that has just the champion archetype. SRD, for those who don't know, and I guess OGL for that matter. OGL is the Open Gaming License. SRD is the System Reference Document. The Open Gaming License allows one to use the System Reference Document rules for one's own purposes, which is why you can get away with using 5e stuff in Scardlands. If you're more interested in Pathfinder, Scardlands also has a Pathfinder First Edition line, and 3.5e, I believe, for that matter, because they had similar licenses. Right, here we go. Well, that didn't help any. Thanks, Champion Archetype, for being vanilla. Champion Archetype, pretty cool. I really should zoom out on this PDF. And then just click on the headings. How do I summarize this? I guess 7th level fighter is more of a internal or training thing, I guess. Less a modification of fighting style, more progression of training. Let's phrase it that way. So I could do something based around the bonus proficiencies gained. So some boost to stealth maybe. Or I could do some kind of training reflecting night fighting. Probably that. Yes. Oh right, I was going to summarize these. Whoops, my bad. Stealth, that's not how I spell stealth. That is not how I spell perception either. Perception, skirmisher, plus 14, what? That's a random move speed. Plus 5 speed, difficult terrain, bonus. Terrain sensors, lightly obscured. Not impose. Disadvantage. To hide and lightly obscured. Those of you familiar with the 5th edition rules, maybe like, hey, that's the Wood Elf feature, and I'd be like, yes, it is. Unhampered movement, ignore stealth penalty of armor. Okay, so that's those. I need to make sure that it lines up with the kind of curve of the fighter. 10th level. Yeah, 10th level does give you extra, like, training stuff, so I was on the ball there. Heck yeah, that doesn't happen often. I'm going to take that. So that's fine. I think that's fine. You know what? I'll do an improvement as well. I'll just put skirmisher improvement here so I remember, but going to be playing first D&D campaign in Fury, just waiting for the World Anvil to get all the info to make a character for the world. World Anvil. That's a pretty good campaign option, journal option. Are you excited for your first D&D campaign? Have you played D&D before, or just one-shots, that kind of thing? I'm going to ask questions because it gives me something to talk about. Heck yeah, talking. As a shy person, talking does not come naturally to me. That's like, disclaimer, as a shy person, talking does not come naturally to me. Opinions may not be my own. Anyway, 15th level is seeming like some modification of fighting style again. Yes. Yes, it is. Okay, so some modification of that. Be first D&D experience. Hell yeah! I wish you all the luck. Sorry, 1 second. I truly do wish you the best of times. I know there's a bandwagon's the wrong word. Trend at the minute for saying like D&D is the worst because X, Y, Z. But hey, that's gatekeeping. If people find it fun and they enjoy it, welcome to the hobby. You're one of us. Anyway, we'll have to start somewhere, right? Right, so I've got skirmishers. Some kind of modification of the fighting style. Oh, I like environmental usage. Battlefield qualities. God, yeah, XYZ, how dare it? How dare XYZ go to press? I love it when people run with my dumb jokes. Or soap boxes. I guess I just call it environmental awareness. No. Modify environment. Hydrate. Oh, you're right. I should probably do that. Oh, that lemon and ginger is so good on my throat. Even the cheaper, I was about to swear. Even the cheap stuff that we purchase is good on my throat. And then, yes, if you are interested in streaming, whether role-playing games or video games or art, podcasts, what have you, I highly recommend finding a drink that you can drink a lot of. It is heck on the throat. What is in the cup? It is simply lemon and ginger infusion. Sometimes I add honey to it if my throat is particularly sore, but lemon and ginger is good for me because, one, I completely love the taste of lemon and ginger. But it's good for your throat. It's rather soothing. And ginger also helps settle the stomach. And I get a lot of performance anxiety streaming. Why do I even do this? So it helps settle my stomach and means I don't get nauseous. And then as I say, it's good when you're ill as well because of the lemon, clears you out, nose and up. But also you can put honey in it and it it soothes your throat. I'm doing great, thank you. Yeah, lemon. We get through a lot of lemon and ginger because, especially on these Tuesdays that I stream, because I stream here and then I stream on my channel afterwards, and sometimes I'll make a second cup or mug, I should say. Anyway. Wow, what is going on with that? Okay, wait. So that's the 18th feature there. It seems like a super. Every time I move my, you can't see it obviously. Every time I move my camera into like where the address bars and the tabs to swap between my open PDFs, it just slows to a crawl. 18th level fighter seems like a how best to summarize this? It's like an internal ability. I mean, it's like pinnacle of training, I guess. They all seem to be one-use effects. Just saying they're doing pretty good. Well, thank you. I try. After 30 whatever episodes, I hope that I've got at least the basics down. Oh god. So some kind of one-use. Let's call it fade away, and then let's go with because I don't want it to be magical. This is like something that comes about through training. Also, there was the stammer. High direction question mark, or we could just break the action economy, like in general, and hide after successful attack. Question mark. So obviously a lot of class features in D&D are tied to the action economy of action, bonus action, reaction, or like this happens when you roll initiative. Some things break that, like sneak attack is just extra damage added to a roll, but usually when it breaks the action economy, it's oh gosh, how to phrase this? It's an immediate effect, I guess. It's an effect that modifies the thing that you're doing. So sneak attack being an obvious example. Other examples, I guess, would be spending sorcery points for meta magic options for the sorcerer. The sorcery point expenditure is a free action. It doesn't take place in the action economy at all because it modifies what you subsequently do. And I know that obviously there are existing precedents for like the rogue. This is all non-core rule stuff. This is D&D explicit with the swashbuckler. But the swashbuckler has a class feature that after you attack something, it can't attack you with an attack opportunity. So it's basically like a very limited disengage move action. So maybe after you attack something, because I don't want 18th level, we shouldn't be just disengaging, essentially. That could be the 10th level improvement for skirmisher, actually. Disengage. Yes. Or the limited disengage, anyway. Or disengage is a bonus action. Could do that. Could give the fighter some bonus action flexibility. Anyway, that's something to talk about when we get there. I've got an hour and 10 minutes before the stream ends. Although, this time there isn't anything immediately afterwards. So that's good. I wonder if there'll be any promotional games on the channel when the Titan Kickstarter's live. That'd be cool. Anyway. Bonus proficiencies. From 3rd level, you are trained in the basics of ambushes, I guess, and night fighting. You gain. Why did I just? You gain grain. What? You gain proficiency in the stealth and perception skills. Some of this, a lot of the time also, just as a side note, if you're new to the show, because this is being written for the Sloretian Vault, which is the Scarred Lands community content website, or just in general, if you're writing homebrew that you want other people to use, it's worth trying to follow the style guide of the game that you're writing for. So a lot of the time I will try to reference bonus. This is a good example actually. A lot of the time when you when you gain a proficiency, where is an example from the SRD? Just trying to think off the top of my clerics. Clerics get bonus proficiencies usually. I will try to find a class feature that does something similar. It's not a skill proficiency. Gosh darn it! Did I write grain again? I did not. Grain achieved. What was that saying? Yes. When in this case, where a skill gives you proficiency in something, that just says 3 skills of your choice because you're bard. Something I've never said. I love playing bards. I'll try to do it. No, it's been done. No worries. So am I. Live for people to watch and then recorded for YouTube later. I don't think Barbarian gets any skills. It's not this Barbarian anyway. Right, I'm going to leave it for now. But yes, if it matches the language of the game that you're writing for, whatever that is, it means that anyone who's reading your work, document, subclass, adventure, whatever it is, monster, can go straight from that to put it into the game without having to go through any deductive reasoning about what you may or may not have meant. In D&D, not so important because everything is like an ability check, attack roll, saving throw, and everything is clearly labelled. But if you're talking about in games like, well, here's a classic example that I always struggle with. A lot of games have different words for what it is when you roll the die, or dice, I guess. So in D&D, you've got an ability check, an attack roll, or a saving throw. Very clearly defined. Check, roll, throw. But in other games, it's just called a roll, or a contest, or a test. And using the wrong word can cause some hiccups. So, as a general rule, if you have access to a style guide, or you have access to the core rulebook, read it, try to write in that style. It just makes it easier, and it looks more professional in a way. I can't say anything. Like, I steal all my templates. I say steal. The good thing about Onyx Path's community content programs is the templates are provided, so you can make professional looking work without actually having to have any professional skills yourself. It's just advice, I guess. Anyway, you gain proficiency in the stealth and perception skills. And then beginning at third level. Please note, if you're writing for 5th editions, OGL, Scarred Lands, what have you, Pugmire to some extent, you don't need this like narrative explanation of what the class feature is. In fact, the core rules don't do it. I just like to try and have that short bit of narrative to say this is what this feature is supposed to evoke, because if a rule doesn't work for you, change it. And if you know what the rule is supposed to do, it helps you change it. Please note, this is how I ended up creating my own world with subclasses and entirely redesigning how player races work. So, you know, it's a slippery slope, and you'll start writing community content without really realizing it. Anyway, beginning at 3rd level, you are adept at striking without warning. Hostile terrain of Fenrilic. I'm just going to put from hostile terrain because I don't want it to... Good beginner advice, in other words. Exactly. Never ever think that just because I'm here writing this on stream that I have all the answers and I know all of the things. I don't. I'm constantly learning new tips, new things. Just read a lot, follow developers on Twitter and whatnot, watch YouTube videos. You're never too old to stop learning. I say that I'm like not even middle-aged yet, but you never to stop learning. Always learn. I try to learn one thing a day, whether it's for role-playing or just random general knowledge stuff. That sentence is terrible. You're adept at striking without warning from hostile terrain, but I will reword it when I come back to edit this. Your base movement speed is increased by 5 feet. Can't check the word. I can't check the wording of that because of the monk. You fool. Also, if it sounds like I'm struggling to breathe, I have a real problem with pressure, like air pressure, and I think a storm's coming. Either I'm just overheating my jacket, which isn't entirely possible. I promise I'm not ill. Where's the movement? There we go. That didn't help in the slightest, right? I'll have to check the wording of that in the core rules off stream. Your base movement speed is increased by 5 speed. By 5 speed, anyway. Moving on. Additionally, I think it's you may. It's always you may. You may ignore the effects of the first, let's say, 10 feet of difficult terrain. Once per turn. At 10th level, whenever you make a melee attack, I guess on your on your turn, as part of the attack action. There we go. The target bracket S bracket, because the fighter gets multi-attack, and if you're using 2 weapon fighting rules as well, of that attack cannot make attacks of opportunity against you. The wording of that is wrong. I know it instinctively. Actually, I can check that because I believe the swashbuckler is in Xanathars, which is one of the PDFs I have opened for the class progression kind of trends. Swashbuckler. Oh, well, there we go. Oh, also the scout's in Xanathars, of course, so I can check the wording on the movement speed increase while I'm here. Nope. I'm just going to copy the text. You know what, I'm going to copy the text here, and then, whoa, okay, and then edit it. 10th level. If you make a melee attack during your turn, melee attack against a creature during your turn, that creature can't make opportunity attacks against you for the rest of your turn. Control Shift V is, ooh, thank you. I will have to remember that. That's mostly because the well, that sort of worked. Thank you. I'll try to remember that. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna make a note of that in my in Notepad. Try to copy. Almost worked, yeah. My notepad just disappeared. What? Okay, that's weird. Windows accessories, right? For notepad? There we go. Control. I really should put like the snip shortcut in here because I'm constantly forgetting that. Paste that layout. Yeah, as I was saying, sometimes when I need to copy something from the SRD, for example, let's call this useful keyboard shortcuts. The SRD that I have for some reason, like the PDF, it copies. Like the formatting for whatever reason is one letter per line, so it's nigh unusable for copy pasting. Anyway, as I say, aping the language. That creature can't make opportunity attacks against you the rest of your turn. And then we'll just get rid of this hideous monstrosity of text. There we go. And as I say, while I'm here, your walking speed. If you have a climbing... That's nice about climbing. What? Again, I'm just copying the language. This increase applies to... Nope, ot. To that speed as well. There we go. So that's that. But again, so that ties it. The 10th level feature ties in with unhampered movement as well, quite happily, but is more useful for the skirmisher feature, I feel. Oh, I should be making these headings. Is it heading 2? It is. Say it every time, but please, if you're doing anything like this, give yourself the correct headings. It will save you a lot of headache. And it will save you from having a lot of headaches in the future. These headings only exist because of copying the text from the placeholder document, well, from the pre-completed Patreon document I had. Okay, this is 7th level? Yeah. 7th level, your training allows you to see in the now, not in the dark, because that's dark vision, that's something entirely different. To see in all but the darkest or most obscured of conditions. How would I even phrase this? Areas of dim, because dim light is like the area is lightly obscured, and I want it to affect lightly obscured because that also covers things like blizzards and sandstorms, and not just dim light. Hang on, I'm just going to check something. Stab myself in a plastic wallet. Ow. In the rulebook itself, the language around lightly obscured. So you might hear pages turning. I do apologise. I personally like the sound, but I am aware that some people might not. So again, I apologise. I think it's near this area somewhere. Lifestyle. This is a vision. Hello, inflatable cat. Inflatable cat. Here we go. Page turning ASMR. I mean, it does sound good, doesn't it? Okay, I think I know how to do this. How to word it, I should say. You do not suffer. Nope. You do not make wisdom perception. Typing the CK from check. You do not make wisdom perception checks with disadvantage. Due to areas being lightly obscured. That's terrible. To the effect of lightly obscured areas? No, that doesn't sound right either. Rodin's the thinker. Man, I do that a lot. Just not actually pull that pose, but a lot of these streams are just periods of like 5 seconds of silence while I'm desperately trying to think of something. Okay. I'm going to attack this problem from the other direction. Where is the Wood Elf? Because the Wood Elf gives you the ability to hide when lightly obscured. What language does that use? Here's your page turning ASMR. That didn't really help. However, while I'm thinking about it, additionally, you may attempt to hide when lightly obscured by natural phenomena. Right, back to this awkward situation. Because I don't want to just give a doubled proficiency bonus to perception checks, because that's something else entirely. This is about the class being able to see, well, not see through, but to know what is natural phenomena and what isn't, and to pick up, to be like more sensitive to light and movement. There we go. Than just straight up dark vision. Because, like I said, it's something else. Due to being within or looking through obscured areas, terrain, etc. That's the best I can do at this without just spending the rest of the stream working on language. It says what I want it to say, so I'm happy with that. Unhampered movement. This was the 10th level. At 10th level, capable of moving quietly in even the heaviest of armors. Wearing heavy armor does not impose disadvantage on dexterity. This is very, very like note format. Again, what is the language of the book? There we go. There's that. Why is my SRD back at page 1? Wow, that was almost amazing. Where's the... Okay. Well, there's no real format for this. So you do not make dexterity stealth checks. Makes me think of Keg from Critical Role trying to sneak around a half plate. Yeah, I'll be honest. There are numerous characters like that trying to creep around in heavy armor, and they're like, it's a trope, obviously, and it's played for great comedic effect most of the time. But can you imagine how horrifying it would be if you could move silently in heavy armor? And that's what I want for this subclass. You are wearing armor that would force you to do so. As long as you move no further than half of your speed. With a single, I guess, move / action. So as long as you're moving slowly, you know, you well intended misleading comments. No worries. No, I used to always think it was the skill first, and then I've just trained myself out of that. I think it's mostly because that's how that's how it's presented on the skill on the character sheet, obviously. So you're like, that must be the way the books treat it. But no, they do it the other way around. I think just for ease of like, this is the skill first, the ability first. So if you know you're not proficient in the skill, you just know to look for the ability straight away. I think that's my personal theory. I have nothing to back it up. Right, unhampered movement is clearly the wrong word, the wrong name for this feature, because it is hampered. There is a drawback to it. The intention here, by the way, is that you can move up to your full speed if you dash. Cautious movement? I'm not terribly happy with that. It's the best I've got right now. Feel free to shout out any suggestions you may have. I'm just going to put cautious for now. Okay. When you reach 15th level, your awareness of and ability to manipulate your immediate area rises to new heights. Now, could do it as an action, could do it as a bonus action, could do it as a reaction based taken when you attack. Let's do it as an action for now. As an action, you may do one of the following. Turn all spaces within 5 feet of you into difficult terrain. Please note that due to the class feature above, Skirmisher, you can just walk out of there fine. That was intentional. Creatures standing on an affected space when you use this feature must attempt a strength saving throw. This equals 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your strength. Again, I'm going to put strength or dexterity for those few people. I say few. Those people who make dexterity-based fighters. Or succeed on a strength save. Succeed at a strength saving throw or fall prone. Remain standing on a success. No, I think it's implied that there's no other effects. If they fail, they're prone. If they succeed, well, if they succeed, they're fine. If not, they're prone. I think that's pretty clear. Impose disadvantage on all. Oh gosh, how do we even phrase this? Because like the grabbing loose particulate matter from the floor and throwing it in the opponent's face. So we've got like generally trashing ground, hammer slamming, rapidly slicing it with swords. I guess I don't know. Don't question how this works. I just want it to be cool. And then the pocket sand situation. Let's say choose one creature within 5 feet of you. At the start of your next turn, that creature has disadvantage. Can't go wrong with pocket sand, exactly. Also, as a side note, I firmly believe that not enough GMs, can't say DM, that is actually a thing. Like DM is pretty much copyright, product identity, I believe. A lot of GMs don't use the environment enough, so I'm always happy when games have environmental rules, which is why I'm trying to force this square peg into a round hole. That creature has disadvantage on its. Oh, let's just say on all of its attacks. So difficult terrain, pocket sand. What else? Oh, prone. Knocking something prone. That is, however, covered by the shove option. A quick note about the thing I just wrote. I would, if there were damage involved, I would also words Dungeon Master are copyrighted. If you say DM, it's fine. You can't copyright 2 letters in sequence. Oh, cool. The SRD does use GM though, and as does the Scaldlands book. So, because they can't say, "Hey, you are the Dungeon Master." Bracket GM bracket. I guess it's just for consistency. But thank you for correcting my poorly thought out sentence. Yeah, please feel free to challenge anything I say. By the way, again, just because I'm here doing this, don't think I have all the answers and know what I'm talking about. Good grief, I do not. What was I saying? Yes, the thing I just wrote. If there were damage involved, I would totally have a dex save involved. But because there's no damage to it, it is just an action to impose disadvantage. I mean, I might actually reword this slightly. I might have until the end of your next turn. That creature has disadvantage, and all attacks against it have advantage. There we go. Because that allows you to gain benefit from it. Hang on, there's a condition for this. See if any of the conditions make sense first. Blinded, there we go. I was like, I'm sure there's a condition for this. Until the end of your next turn, that creature is blinded. Obviously, this is all community content, so it's not technically 100% balanced, and I don't have the player base to playtest it. So, when this inevitably, if this ever reaches the Sluretian Vault and you play with it, please do leave comments, reviews, feedback, etc., so like I can improve it. So we've got Pocket Sand. Finally, that should be affected space, not effected space. I want another one. As I say, so there is Prone. That is covered by the... Oh, okay. Gotcha. I guess make a shove attack against a creature within range. Creature within 5 feet of you. You knock the creature prone. I might add some like narrative to explain what these things are. Is it classed as an attack? I believe it's classed as an attack because it replaces one of your weapon attacks. There's the page turning ASMR again, by the way. Hello, Glitchy Cheese. How are you doing? Where is it? Where is it? It's never referred to. I think it's just a shove attack. It is a special melee attack. There we go. It's a creature within 5 feet of you. You have advantage on the strength athletics check. Creature drops anything it is holding if it is knocked prone. What character is my main? What do you mean? Do you mean class? Yeah. Usually anything support focused. Typically Bard because I don't know why. I just like playing Bards. I think it's all the skills, but I will happily play support focused wizards and like utility wizards and clerics as well. But I'll play anything. I like all the classes pretty much equally. I like the different approaches to problem solving that each presents. Like right now I'm playing a Barbarian. I've never played a Barbarian, but it's cool. I'm enjoying it. I deliberately chose a Barbarian. I kind of wanted to go the Wild Magic Barbarian, if I'm honest, but I did not. Anyway, I need to reword this. What video games do I play? If you want to see what video games I play, this is smooth. This is how you advertise your own stuff, chat. Swing by my Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/CargoBubbles if you want to see what video games I play. Unfortunately, that is not the subject of this stream. But I appreciate you setting that one up for me. Very much. How do I word this? When will I start? About an hour's time. For an hour and a half or so after this stream. Let's go with... let's go with this. Make an attack against a creature within 5 feet of you. One of your attacks must be the shove action. Must be a shove attack. And you have advantage on the strength athletics check. Required as part of that attack. Make an attack against a creature within 5. I guess take the attack action. Whoops, no. The other side of kind of any community content or rules writing, I guess. Write something, delete. Write something, delete. Write something, delete. Write something, delete one word and change it. Write something more. Have a good day. Have fun with your game. Might be back later to watch. Well, thank you. Have a good day yourself. Take the attack action against a creature within 5 feet of you. One of your attacks must be a shove attack, and you have advantage on the strength athletics check required as part of that attack. Creature drops anything it is holding if it is knocked prone. Okay. Turn the nature of the terrain against your enemies. Which parts of the marriage is complete? Wood. Which parts of the I don't know where I was going with that sentence. Can use the environment. I have no idea how to phrase this. Because particulates is just like an overly fancy word. Lego State building rear end and front end of Carpenter is called the marriage. Ah, I got you. Man, Lego is so fun to build and play with. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go loose ground and just reword the first one. Ground around you to blind your opponent. A wild throw. Does that make sense? Nope. You're trained to throw the loose ground. Because it's not always going to be soil, is it? It's going to be sand or snow. Loose terrain you stand on. To gain a momentary... you stand on at your opponent's... advantage. There we go. That's better. Know how to unbalance your enemies. Turn against them. Oh wait, no, that is the perfect line for down here. strike here and there. You are an UO. What? You are an expert at disrupting the nearby terrain. And final thing. Boop. Getting a whole new appreciation for this form of content creation has to be both descriptive, specific, and correct in a concise way. Hell yes. I should also say, it does vary based on the game system. So, for example, this is, as I mentioned, this is Season 6. This is for Scotlands, D&D, OGL stuff. D&D itself is an incredibly specific system because it has to be. Everything is codified and clearly delineated. Check out those fancy words, by the way. But the story path system, for example, that powers Scion and Trinity Continuum is a lot more open-ended. And you have a lot more freedom to interact with the few resources that the game actually uses. So D&D, obviously, you've got action economy of action, bonus action, reaction. You've got spell slots. You've got class feature. You've got proficiency bonus. You've got ability score modifier. You've got class level sometimes to form pools from. And a variety of other things in Scion, for example, because Season 2 was Scion, and 5. You've got Momentum and Legend, and really that's it. Occasionally, maybe Calling Dots if you really want to be picky about it. So, but because you've only got 2 things to interact with, those 2 things go a lot further and can be made to kind of do a lot more things, whereas for anything relating to D&D, and this also applies not only to Scardlands but to Pugmire material, because I have been doing some runs of Pugmire stuff on the side, like personal projects. I don't know if it'll ever reach Canis Minor or Major, I can never remember, but it's just experience. Hope it will. Because that's so carefully written and limited, it does require a different way of thinking about it. So you might find that this style of description and specificity is more to your liking or comes more naturally to you. I personally think I'm average at both. Like, there are way better designers and developers out there. But I am the one that got the platform. So it would not be professional to say suck it, so I won't. But I will advise you to track them down, follow them on Twitter, and hope that they can shed some light upon problems that you are having. And sometimes they'll even talk to you if you ask them questions. But the main difficulty writing for OGL stuff is the concision, which is why a lot of the time I will take the time, even on stream, to go back to the book, whether it's the core rules or where I can think of an existing example for what I want to do, or something similar to what I want to do, and I'll just take the language from that, because there's no point reinventing the wheel. And I mean, you can probably tell from the way I speak that I am, let us generously say, fond of elaborate turns of phrase, and I will take 5 words to say something saying 2 for mechanics purposes. So having that pre-existing corpus of material, case in point, having the pre-existing language, it helps. The words are out there, why not use them? Exactly. I mean, the way I look at it, words are my main skill. I do proofreading, I do content creation, I do streaming, I do paid GMing. Like, I have to get used to my vocabulary somehow, and I read a lot, so I learn the words, so why not use them? It just comes off as, it can come off as arrogant, I know that. Okay, Fade Away, 18th level. Not quite the capstone, because that's the 20th level feature, but we're getting there, we're getting there. Have I had a when you reach yet? I have when you reach, at, from, beginning, from. No, as you doesn't work. Oh gosh, what are the other examples? Quick, take me to a random class. Wow, that was actually fighter. Starting at, when you reach, beginning. Okay, starting at. Nah. If I change this to starting at 15th level, I can then use when you reach for the 18th level. When you reach 18th level, you have mastered the art of striking and retreating back into the shielding darkness. Let's just say gloom. I like the word gloom, doesn't get enough usage. It's a fun card game as well. Immediately after making... I'm not going to specify, I'm just going to say an attack, because those of you who don't know, or who are not as familiar with the game as I am, there are 4 kinds of attack. Melee attack, ranged attack, melee spell attack, melee ranged attack. And some effects will interact with certain types of attack. So, for example, off the top of my head, the Bard spell Vicious Mockery does a tiny amount of damage, but if it is successful, imposes disadvantage on the first attack, just attack. Creature makes it for the next turn, whether weapon or spell. There is a spell added to, not the core rules, so you can't use that, and I can't, off the top of my head, can't think of any Scarred Land spells that do this, because I'm not as familiar with the Scarred Land spells, but added in one of the D&D supplements called Frostbite, and that imposes disadvantage on the next spell attack or weapon attack, I can't remember. Melee ranged, did I say melee ranged? Did I mean melee spell? Whoops. I might specify weapon attack, actually. This isn't a magic-focused subclass, so they wouldn't have the training in magic. You can pick up magic through multi-classing or feats, so that's, by the by. But the subclass's focus is not on magic, it's about attacking and getting out of there. So yeah, after making a weapon attack. Said melee spell. Oh, there are melee spell attacks. Shocking Grasp is a melee spell attack. There are also ranged spell attacks, obviously, but there are melee spell attacks too. Immediately after making a weapon attack. I said melee ranged. I am super confused. To clarify what I meant, weapon melee attack, ranged attack. Those are weapon attacks, and then melee spell attack and ranged spell attack. I think those are the 4 types of attack. Did that clarify anything? Using hide as a reaction. Sorry, you were confused too? No worries. No, I realized halfway through that I was speaking particularly swiftly, so I do apologize. Tying this to a reaction sucks. I'm not going to do it. You may use hide as a bonus action once on each of your turns. You make a single weapon attack. What is the language? Again, it's easier for me to flick through a book than search through a PDF. And I know I could do Control F, but I was already reaching for the book. It's just I know roughly where everything is in the book, whereas obviously PDF I don't know the page numbers. It's around here somewhere. There we go. Actions in combat. Unseen attacks and targets, there we go. Okay. Yeah, I think I can stick with the language I was going to use. Once on each of your turns, you may make a single weapon attack and remain hidden. One, that needs the word of. This also needs to be a separate thing. Additionally, there we go. Once on each of your turns, you may make a single weapon attack and remain hidden. You may do this a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. Minimum of 1. And regain all expended uses at the end of a I think long rest. Yeah, the end of a long rest. Wow, I did not expect to get through it in, the hour and 40 minutes I had, but I did it in an hour and 20, so that's cool. Why is the proficiency bonus less than 1? See, because this is a callback to the last time I streamed, where I was like, the proficiency bonus never goes below 1. I mean, it never goes below 2, but someone in chat pointed out that I can't assume that people are going to be playing this content along with only the core content. So they might be using homebrew, they might be using community content, what have you, that does modify the proficiency bonus. So I just put it there as a future proof for the edge case. It was something I hadn't thought of, so I believe it was Unstable Deus. Huge props to them for pointing that out. Maybe half at short rest. Maybe one as short rest. It's the focus of the feature is hide as a bonus action, but as an 18th level feature, that's not terribly great. But being able to attack with and remain hidden is kind of powerful, especially at higher levels. Although Okay. No. Better idea. Keep it to long rest. For now, keep it to proficiency bonus. But instead of the single weapon attack, just like the entire attack action. Which, for a fighter at this level, I think is 3 attacks? 18th level. Yeah, it's 3 attacks at the 18th level. So that's 18 attacks without revealing your location, while remaining hidden. Okay. I think I know what I can do. I think I know how to do it. You may take the attack action. And remain hidden till you have finished the attack action. So ordinarily, again, context, people who may not know. When you're hidden, you have advantage on attacks against creatures that can't see you or don't know where you are. First attack you make, hit or miss, reveals your location. This just delays it until you finish the attack action, which is 3 attacks for the action. You can, I believe, break that up with the 2 weapon fighting rules. I think you can take that bonus action in between the attack action attacks. But that would be 4. So that'll be 4 attacks max. At level 20 are 4 attacks per attack action anyway, so like it's what it is, but yeah, you can break it up. So that's 18 attacks at advantage per long rest, which I think is decent because of the amount of hit points that things have when you're fighting them as an 18th level character. And again, this combos with the Skirmisher, being able to hide, not Skirmisher, Terrain Sensors, being able to hide when lightly obscured. So, all ties back to the... I rarely do this, but I like to do it where I can. It just ties back to the earlier features of the subclass. So, to recap, because I don't have time to start another subclass right now. I might briefly talk through my plans for the Monk, but I probably won't start it just because of time, and I've still got to get through the outro stuff. So today we have covered the Night Stalker fighter subclass, being an ambush fighter. Some excels at stealth and hiding. So if you weren't here at the start, out there in the dark, anything could be following you. Night Stalkers excel at moving quietly and remaining hidden, and many form the front line of defence when a community musters its militia. They're the scouts and guards who step out into the snow when a threat is heard but not seen. They're the unsheathed blades you never see coming, or the arrow loose from the darkness. Even the Scarrow tell tales of veteran Night Stalkers and will think twice about raiding villages protected by a member of this venerable tradition. So I believe all of those are correct. Cautious movement may get changed, like the name might change. Let's finish the first book of the Lego set. Heck yeah. How many books did that Lego set come with? I mean, I imagine it's a big set, actually, if it has multiple books. Those are all correct. So bonus proficiencies from 3rd level, you're training the basics of ambush and night fighting. You gain proficiency in the stealth and perception skills. Do you want to kind of build on this and your GM allows you? It's not in the core rules, but they like all that means is that no one can publish it, but you could take the blind fighting style. It's compatible. Anyway, gain proficiency in stealth and perception. Skirmisher at the beginning of 3rd level, you're adept at striking without warning from hostile terrain. Your walking speed is increased by 5 feet. If you have a climbing or swimming speed, this increase applies to that speed as well. Additionally, you may ignore the effects of the first 10 feet of difficult terrain once per turn. At 10th level, if you make a melee attack against a creature during your turn, that creature can't make opportunity attacks against you for the rest of your turn. 2 and 6 boxes. It still seems a decently sized Lego set. I'm happy to provide some background listening. Train Sensors from 7th level. Your training allows you to see in all but the darkest or most obscured of conditions, as you do not make wisdom perception checks with disadvantage due to being within or looking through lightly obscured areas / terrain, etc. Additionally, you may attempt to hide when lightly obscured by natural phenomena. Cautious movement. At 10th level, you are capable of moving quietly in even the heaviest of armors. You do not make dexterity stealth checks at disadvantage when you're wearing armor that would force you to do so, as long as you move no further than half your speed with a single move / action. So that covers the dash action. That's why that language is there. Environmental awareness. Starting at 15th level, your awareness of and ability to manipulate your immediate area rises to new heights. As an action, you may do one of the following. With a strike here and there, you are an expert at disrupting the nearby terrain. That's an introductory clause. Eternal spaces within 5 feet of you is difficult terrain. Creature standing on an affected space. When you use this creature must succeed at a strength saving throw, DC equals 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your strength or dexterity modifier, or fall prone. You're trained to throw the loose terrain you stand on at your opponents to gain a momentary advantage. Choose one creature within 5 feet of you until the end of your next turn. That creature is blinded. You know how to unbalance your enemies by turning the terrain against them. Take the attack action against a creature within 5 feet of you. One of your attacks must be a shove attack, and you have advantage on the strength athletics check required as part of that attack. Creature drops anything it is holding if it is not prone. And then fade away. When you reach 18th level, you've mastered the art of striking from and retreating back. This is a separate clause. Whoops. Into the Gloom. You may use Hide as a bonus action. Additionally, once on each... I think it's take... Nah, be fine. Additionally, once on each of your turns, you may take the attack action and remain hidden until you've finished the attack action. You may do this a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. Minimum of 1, and regain all expended uses at the end of a long rest. Still took 3 minutes to read through all of that. So that was A, a recap of what we've done this stream, and B, just as a general note, when writing anything really, whether fiction, non-fiction, essays, that kind of thing, or role-playing stuff, if you're proofreading something, like it helps mostly with proofreading, but reading something out loud, because you focus on it more than you might if you're just reading it non-verbally, you do pick up on more kind of errors and things. Just the way the brain works, I guess. It's just a good habit to get into. A good trick also if you're proofreading anything and you can't figure out, like, because I mentioned I proofread. If you're reading something and your brain is telling you that that thing is wrong, but you can't figure out what's wrong with it, read it out loud. And I, not promise, but like the odds are that within a couple of verbal repetitions of the sentence or the paragraph, you will figure out what's wrong with it. Because of the way the brain works. I'm mostly happy with that, actually. I'm pretty happy with that. Thank you, Aaron, for sitting through it and asking questions that further hone it. Next time, so this is a bi-weekly stream, or fortnightly if you prefer. I'm aware that Fortnite out of British English is more likely to be an incredibly popular Battle Royale game than a Measure of Time, but there we go. So the next time I will be streaming will be the 19th of January. Same time, 9 AM EST, or 2 PM UTC if you are in my time zone, or wherever you are in between. And we will attack the monk, the way of the hungering soul. Life on Fenric is brutal, harsh, and eternally hungers for something, be it life, food, or companionship to stave off the madness of the eternal night. Monks who follow the way of the hungering soul have learned to master these needs and manipulate the ki of those around them to amplify or weaken the grip they hold. People of Fenric believe these monks can peer into a person's heart and see the hidden desires within. Basically, I wanted to do really sinister monks. I have no idea how I'm going to do it. Again, the feature names, these features are for bounty hunting monks I made for my Patreon. Speaking of, if my Patreon is OGL compatible, you can totally support it and use it with Scarred Lands. It's great. Thank you for sharing. I enjoyed the stream and learned a few things. Try to tune in next time. Want to be an attack the fighter and monkey around with the monk? Oh, good lord. I simply would type things to thanks for the stream. No worries. Thank you for tuning in. As I say, this stream literally wouldn't work without the community. So, thanks, Custom Blink, for that so much. Anyway, yeah. So next time we'll do the monk. I'm honing in on the wizard. I think rather than focusing on the weather, the wizard's going to be a cryomancer, so ice magic. Not completely nailed down that idea yet. Anyway, so as I said at the top of the stream, if you weren't here, you wouldn't have heard it. If you want to rewatch any part of the stream and you don't want to wait a week, please do consider subscribing to the channel. You get emotes, sub badge, and you can watch videos you can watch the videos on demand a week before non-subscribers. After that week, you've got, I assume, quick maths, 53 days before Twitch deletes the VOD. Or you can just head to my YouTube channel, just type in Comrade Bubbles, and it's all on the playlist on there, a week after it's aired, obviously, for the exclusivity. If you have any questions, ever want to talk shop, anything at all, I am on Twitter. It is Comrade Bubbles on Twitter also. And I do stream on Twitch 3 days a week. Variety streaming, so video games usually, but every other Friday right now. I'm about to start a really short Call of Cthulhu game, and then we're going to finish off a D&D game, and then I don't know what's happening after that. But I'm always happy to talk to chat there and answer questions, because obviously here it's very Onyx Path focused, because they're kind enough to give me the platform, but there I can talk about anything, really, because it's my channel. And also, if you are on the Onyx Path Discord, and Nightbot has been dropping the link periodically, I do lurk there a lot. I don't always answer, but if there's a question I feel I can answer, please, just ask, and if I feel I can answer it, I will. If you want, on the Onyx Path Discord, it is a great place to just talk about your favourite games. There's a channel for the game lines that Onyx Path publish. I can't figure out the right word right now. So it's a great place to hang out with like-minded people. And lastly, before I go to the post-roll, the Monday meeting notes are always the best place to go for... I very, very nearly closed the wrong window there. The Monday meeting notes are the best place to go for the kind of project updates, what's coming up this week, etc. So again, salient points. Onyx Path is in its 10th year of trading, so happy birthday, Onyx Path, I guess. There is a Kickstarter for 2 Scion books later this month, the date to be determined. Scion Mythos, Masks of the Mythos, which adds the Cthulhu mythos to the game, and Scion Dragon, which adds dragons to the game. Based on previous supplements, the writing and art and gameplay is going to be of stellar quality. Also on the Monday meeting notes page, there's art and general updates about where projects are in the development pipeline, and other interesting stuff that changes on a daily basis. Also just links to other media that Onyx Path staff, representatives, what have you, are involved in. Podcasts, interviews, that good stuff, and also links to past streams. Not mine, because again they go up on my channel, but past streams of other games on this channel. I think that was everything. So again, from me to you, thank you very much. This stream would be nothing without the community, and it makes me so happy that the community is slowly growing, and more of you are feeling comfortable about asking questions and just giving feedback, really. I don't know when this will be finished. I'm getting through one subclass of stream, so there's at least like 3 months of this left. But as is my want on my own channel, please do stay safe. Please do stay healthy. We are, depending on where you are in the world, some of us are still, in the thick of a pandemic. If you are fortunate enough to be in a country that's getting through to the other side, congratulations. But I still hope that you stay healthy for obvious reasons. And stay wholesome. See you around. I will let the post-roll roll through once, and then I will end the stream. So if you are curious about what's coming up on the channel, just keep watching.